In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this AI board shooting system where the turrets or the board detects the player within some range like this. So yeah, let's get started. So here inside of Unity, I'm using this environment from one of my previous projects, and I have added this player here, and this player has a movement script and a simple blink animation, and also this turret here which has these simple graphics and a gun here. And if we go ahead and hit play now, we can move our player around the scene, and this turret here does nothing for now. But we want it to shoot the player if he gets detected by the turret here. So in order to do this, let's give our turret or this bot here a new script. So let's select the turret here and let's make a new script. Call it turret script. So now let's open this up inside of Visual Studio. And in here let's define a range for the turret to detect the player from. So range, and also we need to get the position of the player, so let's make a public transform and call it target. And lastly let's make a boolean here which will tell us if the player is detected. So let's call it detected, and we will set this equal to false. And now inside of the update method here, we will shoot away from the position of our turret to the position of our player. So let's make our ray cast at 2D, and let's call this ray info and set this equal to physics2d.raycast. And inside of this we need an origin, so let's put in transform.position here, but we also need a direction here, so let's calculate the direction first. Vector2, let's call it direction. And inside of the update method we also need to get the position of the target, so let's store it vector2, call it target position, and set this equal to target.position. And once this is calculated, we can calculate the direction, which will be equal to the difference between target position and the position of the turret here. So transform.position, and we need to cast it into a vector2 to perform this subtraction. So let's put a vector2 here. Alright, now let's put the direction here, and for the distance let's put in range here. And now we can check if the ray has collided with something. It will return true if it hits something. So we will check if the ray has collided with the game object having the tag of player. So collider.gameObject, and we can compare their tag. And if it has, then we will check if the detected is set to false here. So if detected is set to false, and if it is, then we will set it to true. And now let's also make a reference for our alarm light here. So up here let's make a public game object. Let's call it alarm light. And now let's go back down here. And if the player gets detected, we will change the alarm light color to, let's say, red. So get the sprite renderer and change the color to red here. Alright. But if the ray doesn't collide with the player, so we'll put an else condition here. And inside of this we will check if the detected is set to true. So let's change this to true. And if it is, we will set this to false here. And also change the color of the alarm light to green. Alright. So yeah, that's basically all we need to do. Let's head back inside of Unity now. and select the turret here. Set the range to, let's say, 10. But we cannot see the range here. In order to visualize this, let's go back inside of the turret script. And here we will use Unity's on draw gizmo selected function here. And inside of this we will draw a wire sphere. And we need to give it a center here, which will be transform.position. So let's put in transform.position. And for the radius we will give in the range. Alright, so now save this and let's add back inside of Unity. Now let's just zoom out a bit. Select the turret. And now we can see the turret's range here. So this white sphere. Alright, now let's give in the target. So drag and drop the player here. And for the alarm light, let's go inside of turret, graphics, and here I have this alarm light. So let's drag and drop this, which is basically a simple circle sprite with green color. So now let's zoom out a bit, and I think that's it. So let's go ahead and play now. But before that, actually make sure the player is tagged as player here. Alright, let's hit play now. Now if we try to get closer to the range, it will turn red, and if we go back, it should turn green, and indeed it does. Awesome, so yeah, our turret here can detect the player. Alright, so yeah, so now let's exit the play mode. So now the next thing we need to do here is to make the gun here follow the direction of our player. So let me show you what the gun is. Let's just click this turret. This should follow the direction of our player. And for that, let's go back to the turret script. And here we need to make a reference for our gun. So let's make a public game object, call it gun. And down here we will check if the player is currently detected. And if it is, we will set the transform.up of our gun to this direction. Alright, let's save and let's head back inside of Unity. Select the turret here. So this green arrow here will point towards the direction of our player. Alright, let's select the turret and let's drag and drop this gun inside of this gun slot. And now we can just zoom out and hit play. Let's see if it's working. Alright, as you can see here, the gun actually follows the direction of our player. That's cool. And if we get away, it stops following. So now the only thing left here is to make the turret shoot the player. So let's exit play mode. For that we need a bullet here. So we will use the circle sprite inside of the sprites. Let's drag and drop this here. And I'll quickly make the bullet using this circle sprite. So you can also slow this down if you don't know how to make one. So let's add a circle collider and let's change the color to black. And also I'll make a simple trail render for this bullet. Give it a nice gradient here, something more darker. Alright, so something like this. Change the time here, decrease the time to 0.4. And once we are satisfied with the look of the bullet, we can now add rigid body 2D to this. And make sure you set the gravity scale to 0. And also let's go to the constraints and enable this freeze rotation. Okay, so now let's make a prefab out of this bullet and delete this from the scene. And now we need to make a reference for the bullet in the turret script. So let's go to the turret script now. And here let's make a public game object and call this bullet. And also make a float for the fire rate. And another private float for next time to shoot. and I'll show you exactly why we need this. And set this equal to 0. Let's scroll down, and here if the player is detected, we will check if the time is actually greater than next time to shoot. And if it is, we will set the next time to fire is equal to whatever time it is plus 1. So every second divided by the fire rate. And we can just call the shoot method here, which we haven't created yet. So let's go ahead and create this right now. So let's call this shoot. And inside of this shoot method, we will instantiate the bullet first. So we need a shoot point here. So let's just store this in a public game object up here. So let's call this shoot point. Let's actually change this game object to transform. And down here, let's type in shoot point dot position. And as for the rotation, we don't need to rotate it, so let's type in quaternion dot identity. And let's also store this in another game object. So let's call this bulletins. And now we can get the rigid body 2D component on this game object and add some force to it. So first let's give in the direction, and we need to multiply it with some force. So let's not hardcode this, instead make a float up here. So let's make a public float and call it force. Alright, now we can just pass it here. So type in force. Alright, now let's head back inside of Unity. And let's pass in our bullet prefab. And set the fire rate to, let's say, 5. And we need to give it a shoot point here, but we haven't created one, so let's go ahead and create it right now. Create empty, and let's call this shoot point. Alright, now let's change the position of it. Then drag it down here. So at the tip of this gun here. Alright, now let's select the turret and drag and drop the shoot point. And set the force to, I think, 700. So yeah, now select the bullet and we will make a new script. So let's call this bullet script. Create an add, and let's open this up inside of Visual Studio. And in here we will just call the Unity Zone Collision Inter 2D method. And when the bullet collides with something, we just want to destroy this. So let's type in destroy and pass it this game object. But you could also do damage to the player if you want here, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So let's save this and let's head back inside of Unity. Select the turret here and we can just hit play now. Alright, let's try to get closer to the turret. Damn, that's so fast. So set the force to, I think, maybe 200. So yeah, let's keep the force to 200, and also let's increase the range a bit. Set the range to something like this, and let's add some more turrets to our scene here. So let's duplicate this, place it here, and a third one. So let's place it somewhere around here. Yeah, this looks good. So yeah, let's hit play right now and see if I can survive this. Awesome, so now the turrets can detect our player's movement and shoot us, and we can dodge them by hiding behind these platforms. Whoa, this is crazy. So yeah, that's it for this video. So if you have any questions, just drop them down in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. So yeah, until next time, see ya.